This week's Parshah Yisro, we have the pasuk, "Ve'odatim lehem es haderech yelchu ba." You will make known to them the path in which they should go. And there were two great tzaddikim, Reb Meir of Premishlan and Rabbi Yisro of Roshan, who conducted themselves in opposite ways. The tzaddikat of each one was the opposite of that of the other. Rabbi Yisro of Roshan was famous for the great wealth existed in his household, the way he conducted his tishim, the silver and gold plates and goblets and cups and kiddush cups and so on, silverware. The grandeur of the household, malchus, the Hasidim would call it, kingship, dominion. Reb Meir of Premishlan was the exact opposite. He lived in a ramshackle hut. All his furniture was broken, and although his brachos and eitzes were very widely valued among the Hasidim, and people would bring very great pidyanos, very great monetary gifts to the Rebbe when they asked for his advice or a bracha, Reb Meir had the policy that a kopek never stayed in his house overnight. Whatever he received was immediately given away to the poor. So this is how they were, and they were good friends. When they were once traveling, as tzaddikim used to commonly do, they were in the same place overnight. As they were setting out the following morning, Rabbi Yisro of Roshan is getting into his fine gold-gilt chariot pulled by 4 strapping, strong horses. And Reb Meir of Premishlan is getting in his beat-up wagon with 1 lean horse. Rabbi Yisro of Roshan obviously feels a little bit ill at ease, and he says to Reb Meir, "You see, sometimes the wagon gets stuck in the mud, and I need all these strong horses to be able to pull it out for me." Reb Meir of Premishlan often referred to himself in the third person, and he said, Reb Meir doesn't have 4 strong horses. So he has to make sure that he's never stuck in the mud, that he never gets into the mud in the first place. The mud here obviously is a parable for sin. Ve'odatim lehem es haderech yelchu ba, you'll make known to them the way they go. Reb Meir is saying, I don't have the ability to get myself out of trouble if I get into it. So therefore I have to be very careful that I never stray off the appropriate path. I'm reminded of a story I once heard from Reb Shalom Tendler. His father had learned by the Chofetz Chaim, and Reb Naftali Trop was the Rosh Yeshiva there in Rodin. And Reb Naftali Trop, in many ways, is very different than the Chofetz Chaim. He dressed in the latest style with a top hat and a silver-topped cane. And once, when Reb Yitzchak Isaac Tendler Zitzal was walking with the Rosh Yeshiva, Reb Naftali Trop, they saw the Chofetz Chaim coming toward them. And Reb Naftali Trop immediately handed the cane to Yitzchak Isaac Tendler, future Rav, and put his hat on his head. And they greeted the Chofetz Chaim as they passed him. As soon as they passed by, Reb Naftali Trop took back his hat and took back his cane. So Tendler, Yitzchak Isaac Tendler, said, listen, I understand that the Rosh Yeshiva was getting himself out of trouble, but wasn't he getting me in trouble at the same time? And Reb Naftali Trop said, whatever trouble you get into, I can get you out. But if I get in trouble, there's not a thing that you can do to help me. Everyone should think about the path that they have to take as we read a Seres Dibros this Shabbos, and everyone's to have a wonderful Shabbos, of uplifting inspiration as to the path that they should be going on.